Today on Meet the Farmer TV, part 3 of Monticello's Heritage Harvest Festival, starring Ira Wallace.
Everything is beautiful.
Meet the Farmer TV is made possible by Planet Earth Diversified, Melli Productions, and Leslie P. Jenkins Photography and Graphic Design. Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, serving the community since 1982 with heirloom varieties and organic seeds. RelayFoods.com, local stores, local farms, local food, serving Charlottesville and Richmond. Better food, more living, less driving. Whole Foods Market, whole foods, whole people, whole planet. Culpeper Media Network, helping to preserve the agricultural history of Virginia. And In the Kitchen magazine, serving the community and everyone who loves good food.
I'm Michelle Ramey. I'm one of the undergraduate student managers for the UVA Community Garden, and I'm here at the Monticello Heritage Harvest Festival, and this is Meet the Farmer TV.
One of the important things for Thomas Jefferson was saving seed and swapping seed with other growers. So we're going to talk to Ira Wallace and find out about a modern day version of that, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange.
Hi, I'm Ira Wallace from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and I work with our variety selection and the growers that grow our seeds and the Heritage Harvest Festival at Monticello. We are in the beautiful west lawn of Monticello. The Heritage Harvest Festival is in full swing. There are hundreds and thousands of people happily walking around enjoying this beautiful place that Thomas Jefferson designed and that the foundation maintains, and all kinds of local vendors here with local foods and local ciders and oh my goodness, tomatoes and garlic and everything, and lots of good eats made from local food too. Well, one of the reasons that we asked Monticello if they wanted to partner with us in having the Heritage Harvest Festival is Thomas Jefferson was famous for sharing seeds from Europe and from all over the world and from other parts of the United States with the local farmers. He thought it was that the vegetable cuisine was one of the most important things that you could offer to a country. And he was more proud of the varieties of vegetables that he introduced than of signing the Declaration of Independence. And we here at Southern Exposure feel like we're carrying on that legacy. We're trying to preserve heirloom varieties of vegetables, trying to help people know about seed saving, and trying to make sure that that goes on into the future. If we didn't do this, seeds are living things. They have to be grown out, and those varieties are lost, and we don't know what's important genetically. There are varieties that carried a resistance to a kind of blight that took out more than half of the crop in the 80s here in the United States. And some little old corn that people use for feed that wasn't very valuable turned out to have resistance to that. And, was really important to corn breeders. And, you just don't know. You never know what you're going to need, what kind of change in climatic conditions. And for that matter, you don't really know about all the tastes that are out there. Some little tiny thing can be the best tasting thing ever. Well, yeah, we've been at 3 locations in 3 years, all different parts of the land held by the Thomas Jefferson Foundation. And we're going to see how this is here, both for people who come and for maintaining the grounds. I'm hoping we're not destroying grounds here at Monticello too fast, but we might go back to Mont Alto because one of the problems there was parking and the long lines. But perhaps if we use the shuttle system we use here, we could use that, and people could still have tours and things of the grounds here at Monticello. We'll see next month what we think about it. But today the weather is glorious, the people are happy, the vegetables are delicious, everything is beautiful. Well, one of the things that the Harvest Festival really nurtures that is growing here in Charlottesville area is a sense of community, a sense that those of us who want to eat good food, those of us who want to grow good food, those of us who really care about these issues are working together to try to have a food system that works for us, that nurtures our children, that grows up a new generation of farmers who are going to make good food locally here in our area. And you see those farmers and you see those consumers, and they're all helping. And really, this festival is like it. All kinds of small businesses are helping us in terms of sponsorship. And this year we had some, big people join in, like Mother Earth News gave us tremendous press coverage because they really think we're doing the right thing here in Charlottesville. And we think so too. And we're all here smiling, hugging each other, and eating good food. Oh, I was just doing one on onion and garlic. And fall is the time to plant garlic, and so we always have to have a workshop and tell people October 15th is right around the corner. Get your ground ready, get your seed, put it in the ground, enjoy delicious, sweet, pungent garlic next May or June. And have it in June. And it's really nice because you don't have to do too much weeding and watering because there's over the winter. I like it. One of the things that we do here is the tomato tasting. And there are many, many heirloom varieties, but tomatoes especially, there are hundreds. And we always try to bring 100 or more to the festival so that people can see the variety and shape, color, and taste of all those heirlooms and enjoy it and think about growing them in their own gardens. Vintage Virginia Apples is here with their new cider. And if you haven't, anybody who's from around this way who has not been out to their cider tasting room, you are missing something. It is great. We love it. Tom Burford, known as Dr. Apple, is here with us again. He started out the morning with a cider making workshop. He had an apple tasting over at Vintage Virginia. Had some cider tasting over there too from the new Albemarle Cider Works. And he's going to do another apple tasting just at the end today too. He is wonderful. I love having him here. He knows so much and brings the varieties of apples are just as many as there are of tomatoes. I work with Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and our commitment is to provide heirloom and open pollinated seeds so that our customers can have the opportunity to save their own seeds and have access to all these varieties to grow in their own gardens. And we really are involved with the Heritage Festival and other things like that, because in order for those things to happen, people have to have knowledge and they have to have exposure. And this is, one of those opportunities where we not only get to do that, but we get to interact with and, have our whole community be a part of that. And it's really wonderful. Something that I missed was the Piedmont Environmental Council. They're working to save farmland all across our area. And they work with us on making the tasting tent. And this year we had 50 varieties from other farms in addition to the 50 that came from the Southern Exposure Farm. And I'm really excited about having that many farms participate.
Now let's talk to some of the presenters.
My name is Michelle Ramey, and I'm a fourth-year student at the University of Virginia, and I am one of the undergraduate student managers of our UVA Student Garden. I worked in the garden all summer, which was wonderful. We had a wonderful summer, but it was a little lonely without all the students. And so everyone is back, and we have a ton of new folks out who are really excited about getting in the garden. So we have 2 work days every week where people just come out and we work, but we also really make it a community space for people to just sit around and talk and about food and why they would want a garden. And we're also this fall starting a lot of field trips, hopefully like twice a month, going out to local farms and having workshops. And we actually also have a new space. We doubled our size behind Gilmer Hall, which is an academic building. And so we're hoping to really expand out into that area and do some cover cropping and really use that extra space, because right now, or until this point, it's been pretty small. But we're excited to expand. The cistern that we have set up in the garden, it was totally designed by engineering students. So we asked them, hey, we would really love a rain bill. Like, will you please design us one that works? And so, sure, they designed it, and we got it installed, and it's working really well. We didn't have that much rain this summer, as I'm sure you know, but it works awesome, and so we're really happy to have that. For the most part, a lot of the people who come and volunteer are students, but we also really want to make an effort to be open to the whole community. And one example of that is coming up on October 3rd, there's a community bike tour, and it's going to be 5 different gardens, community gardens all around Charlottesville. And so that's going to be a really awesome opportunity to show everyone in Charlottesville, what's going on, and that UVA wants to be, a part of the greater community and not just for students. Because we just expanded into a new space, like we said, we doubled our size, and so we really definitely need some hands to help, get that space going. And so if people want to volunteer, they can just go onto our website and shoot us an email. Our website is uvagarden.wordpress.com, and it's a blog that we keep updated all the time with pictures and when we have work days. So yeah, we always love volunteers, and if we get enough, maybe we'll go out to another garden in the community or farm that needs a lot of help. If we're finished and we don't really have that much to do, then if we have a lot of hands, then we want to help other people out. I think Jefferson was all about making agriculture and gardening just a part of your daily life, and it just made sense. Of course you would know where your food came from and how to grow it. It was just a part of your daily life. And so I think for students, as they're walking to the dining hall to see this garden, it just makes sense that it should be there. And so I think the more that students and just anyone walks by and they see gardens just popping up everywhere, it's just, I think TJ would be proud. The Food Collaborative is a group of students and professors and UVA Hospital and just anyone really in UVA, and also some people just involved in Charlottesville who are just working with food and agriculture, food studies in any way. And basically the way we all came together was just to, first of all, let everyone know what everyone's working on. And then also, we're like, well, we're all here, we might as well also do stuff. And so this fall we have film screenings. We actually we've screened Fresh last week, which a ton of people came out for. It was really awesome. And there's 2 more films this fall. There's going to be a big forum on October 7th. There's student seminars, 3 student seminars once every month. So it's just an awesome opportunity to bring people together from UVA and Charlottesville and just let other people know what's going on and what we're studying, and also to get people excited and asking questions. And it's a really great group, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. If there was much going on in terms of food or food studies at UVA, no one really knew about it, which is why this group is great, because the Food Collaborative is really just a forum for people to say what they're working on, and if someone's interested, it's just a foundation for starting those conversations. So I think for Jefferson, agriculture and working, knowing where your food came from, it was a very honorable trade and honorable profession, and I think that's kind of been lost. And so I think for students to come, and I think right now, not many people grow up saying, they want to be doctors and lawyers, but no one really grows up saying they want to be a farmer. At least, not as many. But I think that if farming and agriculture becomes, seen as a very honorable and wonderful and joyful profession that you can make a living off of, which hopefully students will begin to see with things like the Food Collaborative and the Student Garden. We'll have more farmers, and if not, you don't have to be a farmer, but at least appreciate the people who are growing your food. I think I take for granted that as a child, I knew what tomatoes were and the difference between a tomato and a pepper, but for a lot of kids who come to the garden, they don't know these things, and it's really, it's crazy to think that kids growing up and, they know where Twinkies come from, but they don't know where their vegetables come from. So I think that's so important, and there's been a lot of gardens popping up in middle schools like the Buford Garden, and so that's a really wonderful opportunity for these kids to get in and just know from a very young age that something that they will carry on with them their whole lives. It's important for kids to know that string beans don't grow on cans, they grow on stalks, and they're beautiful, and you can eat them right there. You pick them and eat them. You don't have to do much. So.
My name is Edna Musser, and I'm a member of the Central Virginia Master Gardeners, and we're unpaid volunteers for Virginia Tech, and we're located in Louisa, Virginia. And one of our projects is selling rain barrels, and we have a rain barrel here as they come from the factory, and we buy them from the soil conservation people, and we outfit them up, and we also paint some of them. And they come with a screen on top to keep the mosquitoes out. They come with a spigot at the bottom and the overflow, and they're all fixed up so you can take them home and hook them up and conserve water and use the water to water your garden or water your flowers. So let us know if you would like a rain barrel. We're from a cooperative extension with Virginia Tech. And the money we make from the project, we use that for charitable purposes in Louisa County, like Children's Charity at Santa Council and the food pantries. So it's a community project, and we enjoy it, and we also enjoy helping the people of the county. Well, it's to conserve water first, but also to water your flowers and things. And many people have old wells, like I do, which were dug in the 60s, and you don't want to deplete your source of water to use indoors, so you can use this outdoors for your projects. And we're encouraging gardens, and we're encouraging water conservation.
Now let's hear from another one of the presenters.
Hello everybody, I'm Rowena Morrel. I'm the publisher of In the Kitchen magazine, which you've been able to get in hard copy off the newsstands for the last 10 years. But beginning with the September issue, we are totally electronic. You can find us on the web, same types of articles. All of my writers have stuck with me. It's just wonderful. Find us on the website, inthekitchenonline.com. Today I'm at the Heritage Harvest Festival, which is being held on the lawn at Monticello. I just did a demonstration telling people that I often cook in a cow pasture at wine festivals, but today it was my honor to cook on Thomas Jefferson's lawn. It's a beautiful festival. There are many crafts here. There's local food. You can come and buy your local groceries right here. I prepared greens. Lots of people ask me how to cook greens because many people don't cook them, and they are among the most nutritious leaves there are. I sauteed them, first the stems and then the onions, then I sauteed the greens and added some raisins and pine nuts to them. You can find this recipe in the October issue of In the Kitchen Online. When I retired number of years ago, I wanted to do something with food, and I didn't want to open a restaurant. And finally I decided that I would write about food because I wanted to share my food heritage with readers. I grew up on a farm in Louisa County, and we ate what we raised, and that's how I learned to cook at my grandmother's side. And I wanted to share that heritage with readers. And so I started writing about local foods, about interviewing local food producers and local restaurateurs. And 10 years later, I have a wealth of information now to share on our website. My grandmother really taught me to cook, and she died when I was 11, so you see, she taught me well. Everybody used to come to the house and say, "Aunt Molly, do you have any of those biscuits left?" And of course she did, because she baked them 150 at a time, and I often stood beside her and watched. And when she died, I knew that we would have a number of visitors in the house, and she had died on Easter night, and we were cleaned out. We didn't have any food left. And when they brought my grandmother home, I had been in the kitchen for quite a while because I was making biscuits. At 11 years old, I broke the recipe down in her wooden bowl. I did 6 bakings, as I recall, but what the problem was, she cooked on a wood stove. And I had the biscuits almost ready when I realized that I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to build the fire and set the fire in the stove. But she'd had a helper for the last few years of her life who cut her kindling in the woodshed and kept the hearth full of her wood. And I said, "Tommy, do you know how to build a fire in the stove?" And he was delighted to build that fire for me. And when my parents got home with my grandmother, we had 150 biscuits sitting on the dining room table. There's an art to cooking in a wood stove, and I must admit that through the years, even after that experience, I haven't learned it. But I do know that some woods cook quickly and make the fire hot, and others cook slowly and keep the stove hot or warm. He knew exactly how, where to put the kindling, which to split, what to put in, so that it kept, see, you bake biscuits at 450 degrees. So he had to have a hot fire, and his oven had to be hot before I could put the biscuits in. One of the things that's wrong with our country is that not enough people know how to cook. We need a cook in every home. Not someone who just warms food. We need cooks, people who know how to prepare food from scratch. I was so lucky because my mother didn't like to cook and wasn't a good cook. But I was lucky to have those 11 years with my grandmother because from age 3, I was her shadow. She taught me how to harvest in the garden. She taught me how to shell peas. She taught me how to bake biscuits, how to cook a country ham. And she didn't instruct me. I got it by osmosis. I got it by being her shadow in the kitchen and in the garden and in the yard. It is a heritage that we are losing because in a few more years, the grandmothers won't know how to cook if somebody doesn't teach them pretty soon. That has been one of my goals within the Kitchen magazine and in all of the cooking classes that I do. I want to teach you how to cook with raw ingredients, cook from scratch, as we say, and put nutritious food on your table. Read in the Kitchen magazine. I'm talking in October about a man who's published a book that you can cook almost anything in a half an hour. That's a half an hour at the stove. That's not buying it and prepping it. But Mark Bittman, with his minimalist cooking, does a really good job in teaching you the techniques of cooking. It's not just a recipe. You need more than a recipe. You need to know the techniques. And there are just a few that you need to know. But don't let your food heritage get away from you. Find your grandmother, find an aunt, find somebody 2 generations back who knows how to cook, and take them something to cook for you. And they'll be just so pleased to show you how to do it. It's really important to source your food locally because it tastes better. That's the main reason. It's nice that it saves my gas and footprints and all that stuff. But the reason you do it is because it's fresher and therefore tastes better. So In the Kitchen magazine is all about finding your food in local sources like this event today and at the farmers markets. Buy your food locally and preserve it if you can. If not, cook it fresh and enjoy it, and teach your children how to cook. Take them with you when you go to buy your food. Thomas Jefferson is known, of course, for his statesmanship, and for us who live here in Albemarle County for his beautiful home. But the thing that he is equally well known for is that he was one of the country's first horticulturists. He experimented with plants. He didn't just grow a garden and have people cook that food for him, but he labored with the idea of having the latest seeds and experimented in his garden. The garden here at Monticello is still a laboratory for local and heritage seeds. So his greatest legacy may have been, in addition to the University of Virginia and the Declaration of Independence, is his horticultural heritage. It's just amazing that they have invited us here today for this wonderful festival. To many Virginians, this is hallowed ground. And it is filled with people who are dedicated to the food movement. And somebody asked me the other day when we knew it was going to be here and said, what would Jefferson think? I think he'd be delighted. Over the past 10 years that I've been publishing in the Kitchen magazine, it's just been amazing to me how much more local food is available. It's so good for our economy. There are numbers of formulas for determining what part of buying local food returns to our economy. But we certainly know that it returns more than buying in a supermarket whose corporate offices are in North Carolina or Texas or wherever. The money goes there. What is sold here, the money stays here and multiplies in our economy and provides jobs for people. We need people working in the food growing business. There are enough people around who know how to do this, so that if you feel lost about buying your food locally, find a partner. Talk to some of the vendors. I know that Leslie Jenkins, for example, with Planet Earth Diversified, knows more about vegetables than I'll ever know. She knows how to cook them. She knows what to put with what. And you stop by Leslie's booth and you want to buy a pepper or a squash or an eggplant, she's got recipes on the tip of her tongue. So talk to the people who sell the food, who grow the food. They know what to do with it if you don't.
Well, I'm Cameron, and I'm with Relay Foods in the Richmond area. We just launched about a month ago. I'm here with Lindsay and Brittany, hi, and they both work with me in Richmond. We're serving the community of Richmond by linking together local farms, vendors, and other stores and providing all that online. So basically the shoppers go to relayfoods.com and they're able to choose from their favorite shops, their favorite restaurants, and get local food and your everyday items as well. So it's really a great opportunity to change the way that you shop for groceries and shop for food.
Well, I'm excited that I get to help make it really easy for people to access local food. If you're busy, you might not have time to go search out a farmer's market that you really like.
My favorite part is the connection we have with the farmers around town. It's really fun and exciting to go meet the farmers ourselves and interact with them and photograph them and get their products online available to our future customers.
Well, Relay is really good on the environment. It's a really light company as far as its footprint on the environment. We work with biodiesel trucks. As an example of farmers market, everybody is driving to one location to get their food. Relay has one biodiesel truck that goes out and gets all the orders in the morning and brings it back to our fulfillment center, where we then sort out the items, and then we have pickup sites around town that are strategically located close to people's places of work.
While we're still encouraging you to go to the farmers market in the event that you can't make it on a Wednesday or a Saturday, you can just go to our website and do it yourself online, and we'll connect you to the farmers.
Thank you for joining us at Meet the Farmer TV here in Monticello Heritage Harvest Festival. Join us next week for Part 4 with Neil Hoverson Taylor.
This is a whole community that is all about agriculture. It's not just these isolated farmers.
Meet the Farmer TV is made possible by Planet Earth Diversified, Melli Productions, and Leslie P. Jenkins Photography and Graphic Design. Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, serving the community since 1982 with heirloom varieties and organic seeds. RelayFoods.com, local stores, local farms, local food, serving Charlottesville and Richmond. Better food, more living, less driving. Whole Foods Market, whole foods, whole people, whole planet. Culpeper Media Network, helping to preserve the agricultural history of Virginia. And In the Kitchen magazine, serving the community and everyone who loves good food.